Train.
Barrett,
We're doing this. Episode 5 now?
episode 5. How
I
are
don't
we doing
understand. What are
today?
we gonna do when we're at like 13? I can't keep counting after 5.
Well, I can't keep count editing, honestly. I gotta organize
Okay.
my stuff on the computer a little
Yeah.
better, but
We're
I'll let
back.
you know what, yeah, I'll let you know what episode it is. And we're back.
All right. We're back. We're back. Another week. We decided to change it up a little bit this week. So we're gonna start with a little mentality check and see how we're doing with the mentals so far. So if you want to give an update to the people, where are you?
My mentals currently, well, this week I went golfing with someone that I used to play with in Atlanta, Will Smith. I haven't seen him in a few years, so that was great to catch up and catch a vibe and get out there. We played 36. We were at the course for 12 hours straight,
It's a
which
long
is
time.
most definitely a long time. But we enjoyed ourselves. We got plenty of shots up. We got probably over 200 shots up. And it was fun. So that was great. And then fast forward to today, uh, had a good live. We hammered some arm farms. So
Got
I guess,
smoked in the competition per
yeah, I
usual.
mean, I guess altogether, mentals are good. House is still being remodeled. So, like, when I get home, sometimes that can be a little frustrating. Just like it not feeling like home because it's a construction site, kind of. So, you just kind of deal with that, but come downstairs and get on here and lock it in. I
Nice.
would I would like I would like to touch on this is potentially, unless something happens very quickly, this is gonna be my first 4th of July ever. So I'm kind of excited. I don't know.
Since you
I don't have
were 18?
yeah, like essentially ever because I mean I don't remember high school really, but like travel ball probably had a tournament. I don't know. But for sure since 2009, never had a 4th of July. So I
You
don't
have
have
your plans
anything.
yet?
No, I don't. I don't have anything planned, but
And you're
it
probably
feels
not going to get
good.
invited anywhere either. It's
That's why
tough.
I have nothing planned.
First 4th of July, and you're just going to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't all cracked up to be.
Yeah. I'll be eating hot dogs on the couch watching fireworks on
I
YouTube.
can see you putting off some of those fountain fireworks in your driveway by yourself.
Yeah. Honestly though, I don't fireworks scare me. I want no part
None of
of
yourself.
of like lighting fireworks. I want no part of that.
Yeah, you go somewhere where someone else is lighting them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm down
That's
for
where
that. But
it's really helpful
I
to
don't
have the redneck friends
yeah.
because they'll tie them together and do all their
Yeah, they'll
pyro stuff, and you just sit back and like if the dock blows up, you're like, that's not my dock.
yeah, no.
I'm not going to blow up, so it's just fun to watch. Is this part of the show?
Oh, that's good. But yeah,
And
overall,
then
man, I'm good. How are your mentals? What do you got going on? Tell the people.
yeah, I got a few things in the pipeline, and it's just it's hard to wait. As you know, you've had a pretty good lesson in patience over the last few years, so that's always it's exciting stuff, but it's not moving. Obviously, when that stuff pops up, we want it like next day solved, and that is not how life works. So that's been a bit of a challenge, and just wanting to move forward. Wanting to start seeing the dominoes fall and some of those things. But I feel pretty good about it. Like it's been a good lesson of like because of how some of the things have worked out, and I will talk about this more openly at some point when I can. But I've been forced to really like lay it on God, and I have zero control over some of these things. Like I'm just waiting. So obviously, with that, I'm trying to do what I can do and not be passive about it, but at the same time, trust God and just give it to Him, see what happens, and again, do my part, not sit on my hands, but get going. So I've had a good week. Family's been a little sick. Sorry, we don't use the S word. The family's been healing a little bit more than usual this week. I feel like I needed a little bit more healing the last 2 days. I still got some workouts in. I got the heart rate up. Someone just got shot upstairs.
Yeah, something. The house is under
Did you
construction,
get
man.
robbed? Are you
There's
getting robbed? Are you getting robbed right now?
something bad is happening upstairs. It sounds like not good. Hopefully, Riverside can edit that
If blood starts
background
dripping
noise out
through,
of
then
there.
we'll bang it for today.
It's not good.
So I got the heart, and then I was like I told you, I was listening to the Jocko podcast on modern wisdom, and during my workout yesterday, I started doing that with some days where I don't feel like lifting. I'll throw on a podcast, just kind of move. So and he was challenging, and the question that he posed, that Chris Williamson posed to him was, what's your suggestion when someone faces a situation or a task where they fear doing it? And his answer was go. And I was in the middle of the workout. And so I pushed myself to do something hard. And I'm definitely paying for it today. My legs feel like bricks. And I'm really, really sore, but I'm really happy I did that. And then, not, like I said, need a little more healing today. Recovery wasn't great. Went on a long weighted vest walk with some zone two. Nasal breathing felt really, really good after that. And that's kind of propelled the rest of my day. And I just had an ice latte with some honey in it. So I'm in a really good
Congratulations.
spot right now. It was a nice little Friday treat.
Isn't it crazy how much, like, how big of a positive impact it is when you do something that you don't want to do?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like at any level, like make your bed, don't hit snooze, brush your teeth, take a cold shower. If it's something that you're like,
Yep.
nah, and then you just do it, like the impact that that has on your whole day, it's crazy, man. And so
Yeah.
that the
Especially
go,
and that's what the things that I've been with that this week specifically. It was in the morning, which I think is even more important because you start your day off. I was joking with a kid yesterday, well, not really joking, but kind of. And he came in and it was kind of, you could tell he just woke up, and I was trying to hype him up a little bit. I was like, dude, I'm 2-0 already today. Like, you gotta step it up. Like you're 0 for 1. I'm 2-0. And so just having that mindset obviously propels you and definitely takes your mind off of things that you're waiting on. And instead of just sitting there trying to be patient and dwelling on what's going on, it's like, all right, I'm going to suffer a little bit. I'm going to persevere through the suffering, and that's going to kick me in the gear for the rest of the day to knock my stuff out.
yeah, it's like you just got to get to the other side of it and then start stacking those W's, you know? And then it becomes like over time it becomes second nature. And we're humans, so like you're gonna fall back and you might realize like, oh man, I've been like not doing those things for the last couple days, or maybe it's been a couple weeks or a month or whatever. But then once you realize that, you fix it and you start stacking those W's again, and then instantly you feel the difference and it's like, why did I ever stop doing this?
Yeah. And you must have watched my Friday motivation post this morning. It was one of the Conor McGregor ones where he's talking about how he wasn't doing the little things for a while, and then he started doing them, and he was like, I was constantly in a negative headspace because I was stacking losses. He's like, now I'm stacking wins. It's completely different. And so that is a huge, huge piece where it and especially we talk about holistic wellness, we can have a win in the spiritual department and they'll transfer to the physical department. Especially, I think the physical is even probably bigger, where we have the win in the physical department and we get the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual win out of that, and it propels us forward. So, yeah, it's something as simple as listening to that 5 minute devotion in your car on the way somewhere can be the win in the morning. Because you're starting off with God and starting off in a good space there, or it's I'm gonna roll out of bed, I'm gonna run that mile just because that's gonna be 8 minutes of my morning, and it's gonna start my day off with something I don't want to do, and now I'm awake for 15 minutes and I'm 1-0 with a
No
big
doubt.
win. So,
No doubt about it. Do you watch the UFC?
no, I mean, I
You never
will
watch
if
it.
it's, but like, again, like the thought of staying up for like a main card fight after 11 p.m. on a Saturday night right now is
Oh, it's,
so beyond me.
yes.
Like, I
Well,
was
I
having
don't
trouble
have a
before.
child, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a child, and it's already tough.
Yeah.
Um,
I was in a bad
Connor,
spot when I was like single and living with a bunch of dudes, and just broing it out where like I'd want to fall asleep for the first thing and then wake up, kind of 12:15 and be ready for the main fight. But now there's no chance.
yeah, it's almost impossible. But Connor was when Connor was in his prime, dude. My goodness, Have you seen? I don't know if it's on Netflix. It might be on Amazon or Hulu, one of those. But
His training camp deal?
he has a documentary where he's like running and his wife's like following him in the car, and they talk about at the beginning of his entire journey, he had a job. I don't remember what it was, but he had like a 9 to 5 job, and he basically just quit and then hired a cameraman and said, film me because this is going to be special, and then went on to be Conor McGregor. And the amount of confidence it takes to do something like that is like it's almost like ignorant confidence, you know, to think
It's
that
delusion.
like it's delusion. It's crazy. But he did it. And so like learn from that. That guy, he was when I was a kid back in the day, Chuck Liddell was my favorite, and then like when I became an adult, he was probably my favorite. I don't think I necessarily have a favorite right now, but in this moment, if he fought, I would stay awake to watch that fight because
For sure.
he's special.
Yeah, let's sit there for a second. Let's talk about the delusion needed to like achieve a certain level of success, because I think that's a huge. We're talking about outlier successes, whether it's in business, whether it's in sports. I think a lot of people would consider you delusional with where you were and what you've done and what you're trying to do now. But
Probably still delusional.
that's what it takes to like you have to be that way. You have to have
Yeah.
irrational confidence to make it to whatever the top is for you.
Right. It's one of those things where, and I struggle with it. I think everybody kind of struggles with it probably, but it's one of those things where I look like an idiot unless I get back to the big leagues. And then it's like, oh, wow, that guy's motivated. But right now, people probably think that I'm an idiot for still
The
trying.
average person would ask you, why aren't you getting a job?
Right. Like, what do you want to
A
do?
normal job.
Like, yeah, why aren't you just coaching? It's like, well, because I think I can play. I know I can play. It's just I don't know if I can get an opportunity to play, but I know that if I have the ball in a big situation, like I believe that I can get big outs at big moments. So that's probably kind of, and I think I could do it tonight. Like it's probably kind of delusional, but that like I don't know how to say it other than like I know if I have a ball in my hand in a big moment to get big outs, like that's when I thrive anyways. Because I black out and I just compete, and that's the name of the game. So like I have more faith than you could ever have in my ability to do that. It's just the matter of getting someone with the power to give me the opportunity to believe the same thing, you know? And like, you know me well enough now to know that like I have my moments where I doubt it, that I'm going to get that chance, but that doesn't stop me from showing up every day. You know, like they're going to have, like, it's going to have to be an extended period of time of me like looking around like nobody cares before I'm like, okay, you know. So but to touch on the delusional thing too, like I've used this example before. um Avi Baya is one of the, I mean, I forget, I don't know what his deal was with Detroit, but over 100 million, 200 million maybe. Obviously one of the better players of our generation. I played against him in high A, and he had a Major League Baseball tattoo on the back of his neck already. Most people saw that and thought, this guy's an idiot. I saw that and I'm like, if I could walk around with that confidence, I'll probably make it to the show. You know? So it's like, I'm not the person to get that tattoo, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn from where his headspace is at to get that tattoo. And then look who he is. Look what happened. Again, delusional is like, as long as it's in self-belief, you're going to have haters. Every best basketball player in the world, who is it? Not right now, but ever. Who do you think
Michael
it is?
Jordan.
Michael Jordan. But there's somebody that's going to tell you, no, it's not. It's LeBron. You know, best shortstop ever to live. My opinion is Derek Jeter. No, it's not. It's, you know, like no matter how good you are, how great you are, people are going to say you suck. You know, like I joke around and I say it all the time. I'm pretty sure Lil Baby said it. If you're living like this, they're supposed to hate. You know, like if you're great, they're going to hate. That's just, and you'll probably have more haters than fans because that's just that's the world that we live in. So
One thing on that note that I heard recently that I really like is anyone that's doing better than you is not going to hate on you. It's only the
probably
people
pretty
that are
true.
doing worse than you.
Probably
But
pretty
whenever
true.
those people that are coming at you, it's you know mainly from a spot of jealousy for a high percentage of the time or something like that. Where again, people would call you delusional for the way you go about things. But in reality, that's just what it takes for another level of greatness or another level of success that they're not going to get to. And so instead of putting in the work or you know going out on a limb with the possibility of looking dumb for failing, they sit and they armchair quarterback it and you know hate on other people because that gives them that moment of satisfaction. Where like, oh, I got this guy that deep down they know is outworking them, you know, and going for something bigger than anything that they could imagine going for. So it's a sad place to be in, and it's just something to look at where I've changed my mindset as well. When that sort of thing pops up, it's like, man, I feel bad for that person that's going after somebody or whatever. I don't know anyone that's done that to me yet, but you know, people that whether it's online comments to a woman that's trying to be a model or you know someone that you know makes comments and death threats to athletes after they blow a game or have a bad game. It's never like an athlete that's better. You never got DMs from like a closer that was better than you know, when you blew a
No.
game, right? Like that never happened. It was somebody that's probably overweight and didn't have much going on in their life and was
Well,
mad
what they
and they're
had
mad at their
going on,
circumstance.
yeah, what they had going on was probably money on the line, and I lost it, you know? But same conversation, you know, and I talk about this all the time. But like the Paul brothers, how could anybody hate on them? I don't get it. Like
Self-made.
self-made, like genius marketers. Whether you hate them or not, it doesn't matter. They did what they were trying to do. They got you talking about 'em.
You can not like their antics.
Sure, but respect the ability to get them to get you to talk about them. Like I wish I had that, you know. And then like Jake, people talk trash about him. Oh, he's a TikToker trying to fight or whatever. It's like, what? I'm not fighting that guy. Ain't no way.
And there's been a fair amount of people that actually know about fighting that's like, and that have said it's incredible, like where he is. So again, like, and
Bro,
if you watch what he's done, there is 1% of the world's population that would put that much work into anything, much less like going into a ring and possibly getting destroyed. So
dude,
again,
this
the
guy,
respect, that's where we should have respect for people. Is like that work ethic. If we applied that to a lot of different people, if I applied that to my own life and said disliking him for making money off of a fight that I might feel like is fixed, like I would do much bigger things than what I'm doing right now.
yeah, I could talk about that scenario forever because I'm almost like jealous but inspired at the same time, you know? He's so good and so smart that he can do and essentially make whatever he wants, and like it's gonna be whatever it is he wants it to be. Like everything he touches turns into gold, in my opinion, you know? But yeah, just another example of like when he was a Disney kid or whatever, people probably thought he was delusional. And then people still think he's delusional and he's on top of the world already. So definitely something that seems to be a common denominator with successful humans.
For sure, you to be an outlier, you have to be borderline crazy, if not crazy. Like
100%.
you can't do not superhuman, but you can do outlier things without being considered weird because not being weird is normal, and then you do normal things. So
Yeah.
you have that's it's probably a really good lesson for kids coming up. Like before relaying this back to high school baseball, people need to see you as weird. Like if you really want to make it. And again, back to our whole conversation about Division One baseball, like we talked about last time, and we can hit on the World Series here in a second. To get to that level now, with those guys being as good as they are, and everyone throwing 99, and everyone being monsters physically, and what it takes to hit the 88-mile-an-hour slider that's backed up behind a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, you have to be weird and delusional in high school to be good enough to get on the field, like in college. And then if you want to play pro, it's a whole different level of weird and delusional.
For
But if you're
sure.
doing normal things now in high school, like you don't have a chance of playing any type of high level Division One baseball, unless it's just
Yeah.
that super rare thing where God's just blessed you with so much natural ability that you lucked into it.
To be different, you have to be different.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Put that on a hat. To be different, you have to be different. You know, like I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. When I was in high school, I would like have these thoughts basically like I need to do running after practice, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And then you have this moment where it's like, do I really need to? And then the next moment is, well, if there is a God and he's watching and I want him to give me an opportunity, I should give myself an opportunity. And I just thought about doing something and then I said, nah, I'm good. So why would I expect the good Lord to give me an opportunity that I'm praying for if I'm not even giving myself one in real time? You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I like went about my business at a young age when I didn't know what I was doing or what direction to go in. And I didn't have people like you in my life telling me like, hey, do this workout today and do this weighted ball program and do this throwing, whatever. Like I was just literally winging it. And when I had a thought that I should do something, boom, I had that thought for a reason, hammer whatever that is, right? And then on to the next. And there would be days where I wouldn't have any of those thoughts, but then there would be days where it's like, well, I'm not stopping all day today, basically.
But you taught yourself the discipline to do the thing that you needed to do. So that's where it's like
For sure.
it's probably better for you that you had it that way as opposed to having a structured program to go to. Because if you're doing what someone else tells you to do, then it seems like you're kind of forced to do it, and maybe you don't learn those principles. So doing it on your own, having that independent thought and being forced to do it independently, you actually develop skills that you had no idea that you were developing. Then that's the reason you got to the big leagues.
Yeah, like I was never a box checker. I wasn't doing it just because it was a box that I needed to check. Like I was doing it because basically like there was a wall there and I needed to just get to the other side of that wall today. Like I needed to get myself to where I wanted to quit and then not quit and then be done. If that makes sense. That was kind of just how, even when I had TJ the first time, I essentially rehabbed on my own with my roommate, and that's basically how we both did it. Like, we're gonna just do as much as we can today until we don't want to do it anymore, and then we're gonna keep doing it, and then our day's over, and then we'll do that again tomorrow with like no real structure. Like, we were living in Daytona, and we were stretching each other's arms in the living room before bed, throwing in the little league fields and in the parking lots, and essentially making shit up in the weight room, like trying to throw harder. Like, we had no we had no guidance. And it worked. Luckily for me, he was like super into like fitness and nutrition. So he was kind of knowledgeable in like the nutrition side of it and had like a little bit of awareness in the fitness stuff. But me, I had only ever just played baseball. Like, I was just a kid from Claremont playing baseball, and then living with him, like he was able to kind of like bring me along with him a little bit. But we still didn't know what we were doing. I was doing like hand cleans. I was doing like clean and jerks coming back from Tommy John. You know, like I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing it.
You're doing it. That's back to the Jocko thing.
Just go.
Let's transition to the World Series. You said you actually didn't watch any of the finals.
No, let me tell you why, though. Let me tell you why. Because I was sitting in front of this computer figuring out how to edit the stuff we're doing right now. That's why.
Okay? And you can have the game on in the background while that happens.
I don't have a TV in here. I just come in here and grind.
So anyways, kid.
Let me tell you what I do for a second, okay? I come in here and I open up Riverside and I grind for these edits. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I do it almost every day. And then try to post them, and I don't post them right sometimes, and I do post them right sometimes, and I have no idea what I'm doing. 3 months ago, I barely even knew how to turn my computer on. Okay, so I'm learning a lot right now. So you're welcome for being not only a co-host, but the editor of this thing. Okay?
Editor, producer.
Yeah, for free. So there you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Don't mention that. All right, go ahead.
So with the College World Series, the main thing, well, there's 2 big points. One was the ejection on Sunday. I think everyone kind of agrees that was a little overstepping, especially in the situation. And then the other main point was LSU's ace, who should be a top 3 pick, maybe 1-1, threw 130 pitches in a complete game shutout where they won 1-0 on Saturday. What are your thoughts on that?
He threw 130 pitches and went CG Shuddy in the College World Series.
And they won 1-0.
Well, if he wasn't going to go 1-1 before, he should now. Like, if he was close.
Had like 14 or 15 Ks, obviously like dominant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, put it on the table. Let him know you have. I don't even know. LSU won? He plays for LSU. LSU had 2 guys, right?
Yep.
They had like 2 studs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he made a good case for himself to be 1-1. He throws 100.
What do you think? What do you think about the 130 pitches?
Personally, like, I don't hate it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. 60 is a big deal, but 130 to go CG Shuddy in the College World Series, I don't think is. If this is your guy and he wants to be the guy and he is the guy and he's telling me and I'm the coach and he's like, give me the fucking ball, I'm like, you got it, brother. Get out there. That's my opinion on it. And if I was him, I would want the ball. So I completely understand where he's coming from. But I will say this, it's funny because if he had thrown that many pitches and then gave up 2 runs in the 9th to lose it, everybody be pissed at the coach for letting him do it. Because that's, you could tell he was getting tired. He was at 130 pitches, for God's sakes. It's like, no, man, if this is your guy, then let him go try to be the fucking guy. And that's it. And he might not be the guy today, but he's still your guy. Like, he's the best thing we got right now, even when he's tired. So hopefully it works out. It's like, we talked about it already. You probably still haven't, on like episode 3 or 2 or something, but you probably still haven't watched it. The Red Sox that come back.
Not
there was a moment in that where they left Pedro in the game and he ended up blowing it. And the manager like took a lot of heat. And my opinion is like, it's Pedro Martinez, dog. He's my guy. Like, this is my moment. This is his moment. This is the biggest moment of the season. He's the best pitcher we got. I'm going to sleep great tonight if it doesn't work out. Because he's my guy. And he wants the ball. So that's how I see it.
Hot take on my end, I have zero issue with the 130 pitches in that situation. None.
Yeah.
From like a physiological standpoint and
Yeah.
on like the sports performance side of things, unless he'd been doing if he's 130 every week, we got a problem. But I believe he was on at least this was he was making the start of this. I think he pitched the Saturday before. He was on 6 or 7 days rest, like a normal rotation thing. He'd been throwing 90 to 100 pitches or whatever it was every week against the national championship game, the series. I have zero, like, you should be fine doing that. I threw 130 pitches in a Legion game one time, and I felt great the entire time. And I came back the next week and threw 90 pitches and felt great then, and never felt better than I did that season when my pitch counts were a lot higher than they ever were before. So I don't agree with any, like, I think that's one of those things that's blown out of proportion, is like when there's that one start or the one thing, and it's like, oh, there's this crazy number out there. We have guys throwing 55 pitches to start and they blow out. Like, like there's more TJs now than there were a few years ago, and obviously the velocity thing and all that. But not to be ignorant on that point, obviously the velocity has a lot to do with it, just from a stress on the body standpoint. But again, he should be in a position at that. He's 21 years old. He's been building up. He's been in a reasonable pitch count. It seems like from the numbers I've seen his whole season. So going out in the national championship game and throwing a few more pitches than you're used to should not be the end of the world. And by the way, anyone that drafts him is probably going to shut him down for the rest of the year, whether he throws 80 pitches that day or 130. So
No doubt.
going forward, it's not like he's gonna unless it's some team that throws him in the bullpen for a World Series run, which is probably not going to happen when he's getting drafted one.
No doubt. The other part about the pitch count thing is like if he's been going deep in the games all year long too, the up downs are worse than the pitch count. Like the up downs are what get you. Like right now I'm in the CISL, I'm throwing 25 pitches straight because I don't want to do an up down. The go sit down and then get back going is really what gets to you, in my opinion. Now, there's a thing where like there's stressful pitches versus non-stressful pitches depending
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
situation of the game, which is another thing, right? But for me, the up downs was always worse than the pitch count. And then when I was a starter, I would always say like once you get past 70, it's all the same. Whether I'm throwing 75 or 105, I'm gonna be just as sore tomorrow. It doesn't matter. So again, like when you're built up that long and you've been doing it all season long, like it's not really my opinion. Everyone's got one, but that I agree 100%. It's not that big of a deal. It would have
I'm
been a
not.
big deal if he would have went out there and blown the game. Then it becomes an enormous deal for from all avenues and all whatevers, right? But he obviously dominated, so sick. Should have watched it. Sounds like I should have locked in.
It's not something where I'm not the biggest fan of just the pitch count number, because I 100% agree with you. You can throw 80 pitches, and if there's a runner on second and third every inning, then it's really stressful. Versus if you throw a few more because you're just not quite commanding the zone exactly like you want to, and you're having more 3-2 counts, and a runner doesn't get past second base, completely different. So not the biggest fan there, but just saying 130 is a lot. If he did it 3 weeks in a row, okay, probably not the coolest thing in the world to do. We need to pump the brakes a little bit. But in that situation, like you said, lay it all out there. And I mean, again, it didn't seem like he dropped off at all, considering it was a complete game shutout with 14 or 15 punches. So
He seemed fine. Let's transition just a little bit. I want you to talk about, you kind of touched on it earlier during one of the questions, but I want you to talk about your faith and how it affects you dealing with stress, because being around you for the last 5 years of my life, you've been a major impact on me and with my faith. So I appreciate that. I mean, I think that, obviously you being yourself want that to be known as far as like where you're at with faith and God and everything else. But I think it's important because of some of the stuff going on right now in my life with like trusting God's timing, right? And sometimes just praying on things and talking to him about it, and then allowing him to deal with those things so that you don't have to. But give everybody kind of like a taste of what that is for you.
it's interesting how I think the only correlation in the blue zones, and for those people that don't know what blue zones is that it's areas that have people that lived 100, more consistently than other places in the world. The only common denominator was that there was a strong basis of religion in those areas. So belief in something greater. I 100% believe that God is real and there's one true God, and the only way to heaven is through Jesus. All other religions are missing something because they don't have someone that rose from the dead and conquered death. So, even from a physiological standpoint, like believing in something greater helps you. And I don't see how people go through life without that, because if the answer for me was there's nothing on the other side, like I die and it's just darkness or whatever, like I'm just going in the grave, like I wouldn't have any motivation. I have zero. It's just all for nothing. When I'm supposed to enjoy this life, and then it's 80 years on a good, on a good run, and then I'm done. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Very pointless. So that's part of it, where I just think it's a huge stress reliever. And then I believe if your faith's in God and Jesus, then it's going to be even greater. And being able to look at these situations, go through it, knowing that you're not alone, that there is a plan for your life, there is a purpose for your life, and you're doing whatever you're doing, baseball, strength conditioning, CPA, for a greater purpose than just you crunching numbers and making sure that people don't get arrested for tax fraud, or getting a guy out, or helping someone throw harder. Like that's what really motivates me. So I don't know how to be good at something if you're not kind of chasing that, because the letdown is going to be so great. And you hear people talk about this. I think it was Tom Brady after he won like the third Super Bowl, and they're like, what'd you feel like? What was it like? And all this stuff. He's like, I got it, I did it, and I was like, that's it, because I believe there's a hole in all of us that God needs to fill, and if God's not the one filling it, then we're not gonna have true joy. We're not gonna be happy. We're always going to be looking for something else. So I think it's a little bit of a roundabout way of answering your question.
Yeah, no, I
And
think you answered it.
like specifically, the trust thing is just looking back over the years and seeing how all the things have played out, where I've been like, have no idea what's going to happen, and then looking how it's stacked up to where I am today. And right now, if I go into that, I'm probably going to get emotional. So we're going to press pause on that whole layout. I'm happy to do it some other time, but
Yeah,
it's
well,
overwhelming. It's like
yeah,
really overwhelming to think about. And there's no way that happened because of anything I did.
for sure. I think that somebody, you said that about Tom Brady. I think that somebody from the Eagles did the same thing this year. He like tweeted it out the next day, or maybe it was the night of, or a couple days after. I'm not 100% sure,
Tom
but I
Brady's
think
always the easiest person to point to because he's like the most accomplished athlete ever.
yeah, yeah. But I think the guy from the Eagles did it as well. But again, it's like you got to believe in something, and then to go back to what we were talking about earlier, like if you don't believe in yourself, then how could you expect someone else to believe in you, right? And being delusional that way, and life is life, man. Life is the craziest ride in the world.
I think we should flip that around though when we're talking about God, and it's like, well, God believes in me, so I should believe in myself.
Okay.
And it's not me. I mean, again, if you look at the Old Testament, it's just person after person. It's like this guy failed here, and then God used him to do something greater. This guy failed here, even do something great. It's not like there's never a person that's like this great, outstanding, checks all the boxes, makes all the sense in the world. Like you would not go back and be like, I want that guy to lead a bunch of people out of slavery.
Right. So would you
That guy,
say,
that guy, that guy has said he's the greatest king and he's a man after God's own heart. His family's a disaster. Like it doesn't make sense to us, and that's
right?
the way God does things. So
Would you say, touching on the delusional thing we talked about earlier, essentially like be delusional in your faith, really, right? Because
definitely different. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
if the tomb is empty, then anything can
Yeah,
happen. So yeah, man,
great book,
that's
great sermon series. If you're looking for something to get you going on the faith thing, then Joby Martin, If the Tomb is Empty, I think helped you a ton.
no doubt about it. It's one of the things that you bring up with me all the time, because it's the one thing that, like, you ain't lying, brother. If the tomb is empty,
No one can disagree with that statement, right? That's the cool thing
you know
about
what
the
I
book
mean?
title. Even if you're an atheist, and you're like, but if the tomb's empty, you'd have to be like, yeah,
Yeah,
then
no,
everything's different.
no doubt about it. Awesome, man. Well, I think I don't have much else for you, unless you got something for me.
I gotta think of a question. I
You
don't
don't
have
have
my
a
question
question?
ready. I didn't have the question
You
ready.
forgot to mention our sponsor. So our sponsor today is Chip Tools. That's ChipToolz,
You,
chiptools.com.
you just can't be a lifetime warranty. I don't care what it is. If you're giving me a lifetime warranty, I like the company.
Yeah, lowest online prices, ships in one day, lifetime warranty on all chiptools.com orders.
especially on a tool. You know how frustrating it is to be using a shovel, and then the
They're
thing, like kind of comes unscrewed, and then you can't really use it, and you're like, what am I gonna do now? I got to go buy another stupid one of these things.
Yeah, well, I will say that they don't have shovels that I know of.
You get the point.
Yeah, they're simple tools and they're for everyone. And I have one actually right behind me. That green circle right there is a stud finder. And essentially you just rub it on the wall and it sticks to the stud and then boom, it's right there.
A good stud finder is hard to find. Seriously, those things go off all the time, and then you're drilling holes all in the drywall, and no one likes that.
So chiptools.com, simple and easy. Let me tell you the tagline again. Simple tools for everyone. Awesome, man. Well, I have the question for you since you didn't do your homework. My question for you is if you could go pro.
Hold on. You got to you didn't set the stage for the
Tell me what the
what are we
segment's
doing?
called. Tell me what the segment's called, Barrett.
No context.
Barrett, no context. You might do one of our new segments called No Context.
No context. So the idea behind this, I can't even, I'm dead. Let's start this over.
We're alive.
Doing a new segment called No Context. And the idea behind this is that it's a one-word answer, short answer, and you can't provide, obviously, any context to why you answered the question that way. And that's how we're going to end our shows.
Yeah, so my question's a pretty standard question. If you could go pro in any sport, what would it be?
Baseball.
Should I answer it too? Then I won't.
Favorite 4th of July food?
Bratwurst. I've never had a 4th of July, really. So
hey, why? No context. You can't give context. That's the whole point of the segment. You're ruining the segment.
Brats, man. I like brats.
I have follow-up questions. You don't even name American food. It's a German food.
Brats.
You can't doesn't make any sense. But we're not doing that. That's not.
All right, brat with some mustard.
No context, dude. You're ruining the segment. We'll try again next week.
All right, we'll get him again next week. Awesome, man. Thanks for having a great conversation with me today. I appreciate you very much.
Until you ruined it at the end, but overall, good pod episode.
We'll get him next time. See you guys.